Hey everyone, it's Karen Hordovenko here, and we're going to talk today about mindset, the power of the mind, and more specifically, the power of the story that you're telling. With all the negativity that's present in our world today, most of what we see on the news or what people are talking about is creating a story or a narrative. That story is not only a story, it is what we are telling ourselves over and over and over again. Now, when we talk about something that is happy, then we'll feel a feeling of happiness. When we talk about something that creates fear, anger, or sadness, we will feel just that. Because we're human, which makes it so easy for us to get stuck in our story. A narrative that plays over and over and over again in our head. What we feel is due to a chemical release in our brain, which are released when we have a thought or from hearing a story. When this takes place, the neurons are firing. And when these neurons are firing repeatedly, that means the story is retold, rethought, or reheard over and over again. It creates repetition with these neurons firing over and over again, known as the law of repetition. The neuron connections then become permanently wired together. Now I want you to think about our brain acting like a highway. There's a new highway created. The new highway then is opened up for vehicles to drive on, and when those cars are directed to go there, then we drive on that new roadway, and after a while, we actually often forget where that old road was in the first place. Those old roads still are there, however, they've become, overgrown with weeds or grass, or asphalt maybe is not as drivable as it used to be. Over time, if the roads are not used, then the roads become unusable. Our brain synapses work in the same way. That law of repetition suggests that neurons that fire together wire together. The increased firing creates the brain to be plastic or create a new brain, in a sense. To simplify, we can modify our existing brain hardware positively or negatively based on what we're thinking or focusing on. We can actually change our brain structure. Now, thoughts don't have to be true. If that thought is wired there, the neuron will tell you what to do based on its response, and the body will respond to it. The environment we're living in, the experiences we're experiencing, the outside world all offer sensory data to our head. Our mind is like a broadcasting and a receiving station. The information that we're receiving through our senses creates an internal representation or a picture, an internal picture. Now that picture acts like a computer program, that when you make one click on that button, the thought triggers the neural circuits. With ongoing repetition and exposure, we become wired to our external environment, meaning we're reacting to past stimuli or situations. Now, to change the narrative in our mind, we have to make a conscious decision to change the story. What story are you telling yourself? What story are you listening to others tell? And what are you accepting to be true when maybe it's not? And even if the story is true, is that story creating the outcomes you are looking for in your life? Now, there are many examples of this in history and how changing the narrative has changed a person's outcome. One that comes to mind to me is from Viktor Frankl, and he's a psychiatrist and a Holocaust survivor. Now, in his book, Search for Man's Meaning, he stated that everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of all human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. So he chose to imagine while in captivity every day what he wanted to be like. He decided he wanted to imagine being home with his mother, eating her favorite food that she made, and enjoying life. And even though realistically he knew that none of his family survived, he still made the choice every day to focus on that. Now, regardless of what's going on in your world, you can change your story. Therefore, your own mind, your own brain structure, your own experiences in your life. Yes, in every situation, even the worst case one. Is it easy? No. Can it become easy? Yes. Only with repetition. So your task this week is this. You need to ask yourself, what is the story or the affirmation you're going to tell yourself so that you have a better day, a better week? You need to create it, and then you have to repeat it often, such as, I'm healthy, I'm strong, I am what? I want you to think about this week, and every time something turns you into a negative thinking process, change the narrative of the story. Have a great week. We'll talk to you again. Bye for now.